Peyton, are you trying to tell me that I didn't do the grass by this tree good enough? Okay. Well, anyways, when I went to go get the ethanol-free fuel, I only got a small can because it wasn't actually any more economical to buy the larger, more bulk size than just the small can. So I was like, I'll just do this for now. So anyways, basically I'm out of ethanol-free gas, so I'm gonna call it on this for today, and then it's kind of too moist further down anyways, so I'm gonna let this stuff dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna rake it up and then give this other stuff time to dry before I decide whether or not I want to shorten it or not, because it's pretty tall in some areas still. But anyways, it's a bit more civilized. You know, once I get it raked up, all those bunches. And then if you guys can just picture it, eventually I'm gonna have ShamWow done all along this. So I was just gonna do ShamWow just along where my goose fence is gonna be, but I'm actually gonna extend my ShamWow all the way down to the very, very, very end of my property line, just to troll those people over there who were so aggro to me. And anyway, sometimes people like to go down to the creek, so, you know, I guess that'll be like, uh-oh, this little boy's following me, but I have my ShamWow turned on over there. Look at that. He was being crazy. He was being crazy. So yeah, this thicket, I mean, look at how big he is. I mean, this thing is just huge. So, I don't know. You know, this is like rabbit food is part of why I don't want to. I'm so tempted to trim it down right now, but I'm like, well, I'm kind of saving this for rabbit food, but it's not going to make much of a difference soon anyways, because since I don't even have my rabbits yet, maybe the leaves will fall off before they'd be able to go through all this anyways. But how are the berries coming in on this? So again, these are autumn olive berries, and these kinds of berries are they just stay super duper astringent until they're at like perfect ripeness, and most of the birds don't mind some of the astringency, so they become bird food, wildlife food, long before they're proper people food. And I don't plan on netting any of this. You know, some people actually make jams and stuff out of them, but I just, you know, these berries aren't anywhere close to being full size yet, but they're still pretty small even when they're full size. I just can't bring myself to try to harvest these guys. The crab apples are, you know, about it for me. If I had some good blueberry bushes going, maybe I'd do that. But yeah, I'm gonna get this trimmed back, and then so for a 50-foot string, and 50 foot isn't how far the lights are, but all the way to the end of the cord, I believe. So it was, I believe, under $25 for that one online, and I'm not sure if I have 150 more feet on this side of frontage. I forget exactly. Maybe it's 200 feet. I can't really remember. But yeah, the ShamWow is just gonna be amazing eventually. So tired. Been debating what to cook for dinner. I think I'm gonna have some of that pork with some rice and vegetables. Oh, Josephine, I really hate it when they go to the road. But anyways, yeah, this must be shaken. I've been having some issues on how to, in my head, how I'm gonna fence this, because before I used to just have a little area where I could pull the car in or remove the fencing if I wanted to pull the car further back. That basically gives me enough space for my car and a delivery vehicle to pull in to the base of the driveway. And then so I had it so that the fencing would cut back in and go all the way down just to about that corkscrew willow, and then cut up to keep the birds out of the road, etc. But I've been debating on whether or not to keep this whole front area free from, like, bird free basically, which means goose poop and duck poop free, because the chickens will jump up on the front patio and peck at the door. And it's really annoying because I feel like when they feel emboldened to do that, they would rather, the ladies sometimes would rather just send like a rooster, you know, to go say, hey, come give us some more feed. We'd rather not forage. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, because this thicket is pretty good bird space in some ways. And sometimes there's good bugs and stuff, so maybe I'll just shorten it and thin it out until I'm ready to put my palm trees all along this frontage here. So we'll see how it goes. We had no traffic for a while and it's picking back up. Kind of had some long meandering videos, but I would keep this so that it would be like a wall of willows in the season where it has leaves. Now, by the way, these willow leaves are edible for animals, even for like my geese and stuff. So, you know, some of the ones that I whacked down, I could lay them out for the birds to peck at. I could even harvest some and dry them as like fodder type stuff that they could eat in the wintertime. Okay. So here's, this basically goes up to my pocket. Okay. And that's a shorter one. Some of these are just huge. I don't have long sleeves right now. I gotta not get stabbed by these too much. So a big part of this area, I'm gonna take the brush cutter in through here again, because this is just gonna be great forage area for my birds until I put a vegetable garden in here eventually. I might eventually put like a hoop house, greenhouse type thing in here, because again, the water bed is pretty high up here. And so I'll be able to, in the future, put some of my vegetables just like in a mound, and they'll just have like an endless supply of water, not too far down. Wow. So many pokies, guys. Yeah, so I'm saying these are all thistle seeds. Some thistles, I don't know how these are. Some people say the base of some thistles the seeds are edible, but I don't think this is the right kind. Now, young cattails, like the bases of the cattails, you can actually cook those, and when the pollen comes in on them, you can harvest the pollen off of the cattails. You can also make little like torches out of them, dip them in oil. They can be pretty useful. But yeah, I gotta see how it's gonna go. I gotta clear a big area if I want my birds to be able to come in here at all, because, you know, this is so overwhelming. They can't even get through this. And then I have to clear enough space that they'll be able to have some situational awareness of if like a raccoon were to start approaching them through the thicket. So one area, let's see. Wow, so next time I'm gonna pick up a big can of ethanol-free fuel. I don't know if there is a gas station around here that sells any ethanol-free fuel or not, so I gotta ask around, because that would be way more economical. Okay, so this is eye height for me, okay? So this thing right in here is my seasonal spring. A bunch of water spits out right in here. Okay. But the property slopes down a little bit. So the idea is that I want to put a pond like midway, kind of, to the point, well, maybe it'll actually be further down here, but it's not going to be a real pond because it has to be less than 2 foot deep. So it's going to be kind of like another little scuttle area. Ideally it would be able to drain itself out all right, but it is probably going to get maybe a combination of dug in and built up. So instead of moving the dirt far, I'll just be taking some out and like building up the edges. So I gotta just kind of try to get the lay of the land better to figure out where exactly that's gonna go. But when I was down to just the one goose and then the 3 runner ducks, which are small, this tiny little thing was like a fun space for them. But obviously I have way too many birds for something like this right now, for it to be like a meaningful place for them to share, because it's just big enough to cause fights once I have more birds in here. Because even if it would be a good watering hole, like they'll still all be wanting to swim in it. But yeah, even in the wintertime, the great thing about down in this space too is in the wintertime, the water will stay unfrozen because there's so much water flowing through here when the water table is really high that the water will stay unfrozen all winter. And so one of the things that my waterfowl would love to do when I would let them out is, it would be all cleared out through here, but I would let them out in the morning in the winter. They just come running down this hill right to that little pond hole. Well, I guess it's a spring hole type of thing. So they just love it. I don't know if I'm going to keep any of these autumn olives, but these are the kind of thing I don't really mind having grapes being up on there, and then I could eventually splice a commercial one up on there. I'm probably going to get rid of this because this is where I'm going to be building in the goose duck house situation into the side of the hill. So I've got to do a lot of digging and building up, and I want it to be it's probably gonna start in right here instead of down further, because I want it to stay above the water table even when the water table's high. So we'll see. It's tough to be clearing all this with just the brush cutter / string trimmer because I have to give it breaks to let it cool down quite a bit, pretty regularly, because I don't want to overstress it too much, although I do run my tools pretty hard, I'm not gonna lie. But that's one reason why I'm somebody who I will generally never ever borrow a tool from somebody, and I will generally never lend a tool to somebody who's not family, because I myself abuse the heck out of my tools. So gotta get the brush cutter in through here more once I get more gas. I am gonna feel good about once I get this tame a little bit, because again, before I want my birds to be able to come in through here, I've got to get this taken care of. So I've decided since my last video, which may still be uploading when I upload this, although this video is pretty long too, that I'm just going to go ahead and get more of the 2-foot fencing for now, because again, when I am finally eventually ready to put the more expensive posts and stuff up, I will be able to use the 2-foot fencing elsewhere. Okay, to create different little paddocks for my birds to go in. I am gonna still have to, we have what's called some violence going on over here, okay? Did you lose it, Josephine? I don't know, maybe it's nuppy violence. But yeah, I think part of the reason why my videos are so long and meandering today is just because I'm exhausted. I've been getting woken up to take care of other work stuff / forced labor that I do not get paid for. okay, at absurd hours and kept up until absurd hours. And then, as some of you guys can tell, especially some of you who've been with me for several years at this point, my channel here is so, the views and everything are so nerfed, and people tend to prefer the whole ghost following type of thing. So I'm not ever going to be able to monetize my YouTube channel, which is a huge bummer for me. So I've been thinking lately that I might go get an outside job at the A&W restaurant in Standish. Although I don't know whether or not they'll still be hiring when I'm finally ready to get an outside job, because I need to get my outdoor run and stuff built first. So I don't know, I might do something like that, or like an auto parts store, or yeah, I don't know, something that it might be kind of fun, and where I'll be able to eat good food on my lunch is kind of my goal. But there's even a gas station in Standish that has this sub shop that smells amazing, that I wouldn't mind being able to eat at every day that I work, except then I'll probably put on a lot of weight if I do something like that. So we'll see. You know, I love these purple flowers, even though they're considered an invasive. I used to know what they're called, but I forget. I need to find out if it's something that ducks can eat, because then, you know, when I whack this stuff down and let it dry, if I let it dry on the ground, then okay. See, that's violence. This is why Josephine is getting so chunky. Like, she's not like fat, but she's gotten super husky. Okay, but she shared her catch with the Peyton last time. Okay, and like I said, she's even brought rodents inside before, not just to give me as a gift, but I think to try to give to Peyton as a gift. So I don't know what's gonna happen here. But yeah, she can just sit out here all day and night catching so many rodents. She's really put on a lot of weight because she enjoys cat kibble too. So she's been eating some of that while also just feasting out here. So I don't know, she's prepping, I guess, in body weight or something. But yeah, I do want to keep this little willow grove like clean, so I am going to come back in with the brush cutter and clear this area out that's next to it, but I'm going to leave like a habitat strip. I usually cut more. I don't know if I'm going to do them in islands or not. It depends on how the geese and ducks start getting around, but they're getting so big so fast, and they just really need lots of forage, and then also to not have their poop get concentrated in a small part of lawn. So this area should work out pretty good. You know, I wish I could get huge bamboos to grow out here, but it's just too cold. So them grasses are pretty cool though, and then willows are pretty awesome. And I'm just babbling, guys, so I did not work on expanding the coop today. I do got to get that done, but I need to get this area prepped. I also wanted to just kind of get it addressed a little bit so that I could just kind of sit with it and decide what exactly I want to do with my fencing. Because I'm not even sure. I don't really like how imposing the taller 6-foot fencing looks anyways. So I might just keep this area here as a paddock that has a 2-foot fencing, and then when I do their bigger area, I might put the 6-foot fencing back in here and have this be just like a paddock that they can be let into here and there, and then maybe even closed in to just get their forage on. But yeah, I just know I'm gonna hate it if I put that big fencing up here with them big tall posts. But I don't know, them little step-in posts are probably gonna be ugly too. We'll see, maybe the chamois will make up for it. I'm starving, guys, so I'm gonna go cook pork and rice and chard, I think is what's gonna be for dinner. Goodbye.